My mother, she had 7 kids under the age of 5 at the same time. The first 7 of us came in relatively small groupings in the sense of having twin brothers and triplet sisters. So 5 is 5 for 2, if you will. 9 of us, including my mother, all got our bachelor's degree at UWSP. And I think it was a testament to both commitment and interest in learning. My dad was a professor of English at the University of Wisconsin, Stevens Point, or Wisconsin State University, Stevens Point, when I was there. Actually, he was still teaching when I was an undergraduate there, but I obviously never took any courses from him. I was never very good in that aspect, or more importantly, or that interested in that aspect of English. So I guess I avoided it by accident. I was pretty sure what I was going to do from when I was in high school. Both, and chemistry was very interesting to me, physics was very interesting to me. Which area I was going to go into was not quite so clear, but that became a lot clearer when I was at UW. And I think it was a credit to both the programs and then the various faculty members I had. Bob Weaver was a biochemist. He had an NSF grant, a National Science Foundation grant, and I worked on that, I think, for all sophomore through senior years, which was actually fairly unusual. The ability to get that kind of experience. The head of the department at the time was a guy named Roland Tritton. I took freshman chemistry from him, actually one of the most superb teachers I ever had. I remember taking a theoretical organic chemistry course from a guy named Jack Reed. There were only 2 students in the class, so it was really held in Jack's office. Another one I remember who taught physical chemistry was Doug Radke. One of the things that worked for me was the very even quality from 3 distinct areas of math, physics, and chemistry, in which the preparation was equally strong, which meant that I was positioned for doing a lot of different things rather than one. If you ask me what career have I had, I haven't had a career. I've had 6 or 7 of them. There are all sorts of different things. But it's the concept of lifelong learning that probably has let me move through those with, if not some level of facility, at least with the ability to do them and not embarrass myself. The thing I do, it's probably best thought of as finding ways in which you can translate basic biology into the potential for novel treatments, diagnoses, or procedures. And in the process, the outcome of that is intellectual property, which is in the form of know-how and patents that then can be created into commercial value, either in the form of licensing into large companies or creating new companies, startup companies, to be able to commercialize those, both of which I still do. In being in those kinds of things, I end up being, part consultant, part facilitator, part a lot of stuff. And that's pretty much what I do. I got to the East Coast ultimately through a very circuitous route. I mean, I got there only because of individual jobs that I was going to take, and I don't think there was any pattern that got me there. I certainly, because I was exposed to New York, I wasn't adverse to it. My father was originally from New York. We would drive there, all as a group or some of us, to visit my grandmother, who lived in the Bronx. My grandmother had an extremely heavy Irish brogue, and as did many of her friends. My mother is originally from Stevens Point, or just outside of Stevens Point, and had a farm. Although I've spent most of my life in big cities, I'm still more inclined to small cities or towns that were, and rural areas are more interesting to me than cities. But yeah, I still have strong ties to Stevens Point. I've taken to riding horses, and that's jumpers, which is a whole different experience. First of all, it's a lot harder than I would have ever thought. And then maybe the hardest sport I ever participated in, but also one of the most enjoyable. The animals are just amazing creatures, and horses have been a lot of fun for me. Back to undergraduate school at Stevens Point. What you realize is what you're really taught is not what you think you're taught. You think you are taught something about being a chemist. What you're really taught is how to solve problems. But it's really the understanding that what you're really in the business of is lifelong learning.